Hello everyone, today I'll be doing a solo Grandmaster, Warden of Nothing, with Warlock, and with no anti-barrier mod. For my subclass, I'll be using Shade Binder. Here are the mods and fragments I'll be using in this video. For my kinetic, I'll be using Ager Scepter with the Catalyst Will Given form. Next, I'll be using a Vogue Safe Sky Rifle. Next, I'll be using Storm Chaser. For my helmet, I'll be using double trace rifle ammo finder, Font of Wisdom with 10 discipline. Next, I'll be using the Osmio Macy gloves exotic, where you can get double grenades with the unstoppable scat rifle, overload trace rifle with bountiful wells, even though I prefer to call them beautiful wells, with the 10 discipline. For my chest plate, I'll be using double solar resistance, void resistance, 10 resistance, and firepower. Next, I'll be using 10 resilience with the trace rifle scavenger and elemental shards. Next, I'll be using bomber with elemental charge and a artifact mod to do some decent amount of DPS towards champions. So for this video, I decided to use Ager Scepter with no anti-barrier mod with the Warlock stasis. It's gonna be a extremely fun, well not fun, but it's gonna be a very challenged loadout. And if you guys notice, I do have a hand cam on the top of the right side. Reason why is because I do want to show a hand cam for proof that it's legit me. I'm doing the solo gameplays. I am getting accused, sadly and disappointing. I'll talk more about that at the end of the video, since right now we're talking about the solo run, what I'm doing here, and giving advice for players. In this area, you can go on top of the roof, or you can go back in this mini wall, and you could just spam Ager Scepter, freeze enemies, abuse the power of turrets, and then just make your way dealing with the overload champion. Now for some reason there's some bugs going on with the linear ammo finder, doesn't seem to be working too well, and then linear scavenger especially is not working at all. Like, it's even worse. So I decided to just put trace rifle scavenger, and yes, that is the first champion. And it is the Overload Minotaur, where it can shoot void from far distance, which it's a cheap move, but it's always been like that for years. Now I am using just the Ager Scepter, I'm not using the super. But you can see that with the trace rifle overload, and then with the other artifact mod that you can make a solar explosion towards the champions, it really does make a big difference when using Ager Scepter. A huge difference. I did put double trace rifle ammo finder, plus it was just 1 energy for the artifact mod. And to be honest, it actually did stack. And I was getting a lot of trace rifle ammo than linear ammo finder for some reason, but as I said before, you definitely want a lot of Ager Scepter ammo or trace rifle ammo, especially dealing with the champions, with the barrier champions and then the overload champions. As you guys notice, there will be a train. I wasn't fast enough to cancel the train of trying to send me back to orbit. So we're going to be going to this area, and there's just 1 goblin. I remember before it was 2 goblins on strikes, but you know what? 1 is good enough for me. As long as it's not going to shoot me when I'm using the sparrow. Now this part is very interesting. Now you can actually use these barrels, and you can just use it just to do some damage on the goblins. Once you do take down the gold bar goblins, then you can deal with the Hydra and then unstoppable champion. Mainly I want to take down the Hydra since he's going to be a big problem if I don't take him down. If you guys notice, I don't have anti-barrier, so I can't really penetrate the Hydra shield since I have no anti-barrier. So I actually have to wait until the shield is away momentarily so I can do some DPS with the Storm Chaser. Now, as I said before in the description, I would recommend using the linear fusion, the solar bait and switch. But for this video, I decided to not use it. I do have the weapon. By the way, I do have bait and switch. I just thought it would be a fun idea to use the Storm Chaser since there will be some players who don't have that specific weapon. Storm Chaser is still, I would say, is decent. They didn't nerf it because you know what happened, I would say, a month ago with the duality with the Pacific linear DPS at the boss. I do wish they could maybe buff it a little bit because during capturing the mines, I would wish it could shoot faster so I can actually kill the last champion, but it's all good. Now I am going to be using the super for Ager Scepter, the well-given form, and this is going to melt the anti-barrier champions. Now it does work very efficiently when you are close to the champion, especially the barriers. Overloads, you can use your well-given form super from far distance. I have tried it and it did work okay. I have tested it on a different video, so it does work out, but you have to be very cautious and definitely take down the overload champion very, very quickly before it regenerates its health. Now there will be goblins on this trail, or these rails. You can use your sparrow, but there are goblins that can mess you up when you are using your sparrow. So for me, I just like to walk in the rails since this is a GM and I really don't want to rush or risk anything. Now we're going to be abusing the turrets. So with these stasis gauntlets, we can have 2 with the exotic. And right now, I'm just going to mainly just use my sky rifle. Just to stagger and unstoppable champion. And make sure I can at least get my super as well. So if you guys notice, if I freeze the target, let's say champion, I can get some of my super back. Now look very carefully at the super energy. You'll see that it's going up very, very quickly. And the reason why is because I'm using the fragment Whisper of Bonds, if I'm mistaken. It really helps of getting some of the super energy from just staggering the unstoppable champions and using the turret. It seems to work very well when you do have the stasis freezing the unstoppable champion, which is why I decided to use a scout rifle. And plus, I kind of do need the scout rifle to take down the goblins, and there's a lot of long range, I would say mid to long range of ads throughout this entire Nightfall. Like over here, I'm safe, so I can use my scout rifle. And if I'm not using a scout rifle, let's just say a sidearm, I will have to push behind the pillars. But the thing is, the champion's gonna shoot arc at me, and it's not a fun experience. So now I'm gonna be using the well-given form again. I don't think I used my Warlock super at all. I was mainly focusing on using the Ager Scepter. I was going back because I wanted to get some of the ammo. I want to make sure I get enough trace rifles so I can take down the overload champions and barrier champions since I don't have an anti-barrier weapon mod. Now make sure you shoot the barrels, and now this is gonna be a fun section because we actually have to take down 2 barrier champions, right? And we get to take advantage of manipulating a train where we can lead the goblins to their death when the train hits them. Now first things first, don't go over the stairs. You must take down the Hydra. So right now I am just trying to do some precision shots as much as I can. If you notice, the Storm Chaser isn't actually that bad. You know, you could still do enough decent amount of DPS. Now make sure you shoot the barrels as well, or you can leave it for the goblins to spawn. I'm just making sure they're all taken down so we can actually proceed and take down the champions. Now there is a champion from the left side and the right side. Mainly what you want to do is take down the champion from the right side. Now if you're using Obelisk, then you could just easily take down the champions right away, or you know, abuse the train and let the goblins get hit by it, just like we have seen from Little Nicky from the movie where the train just hits him. And that's basically what we're doing. Well, kinda, but you know, mainly you do want to lure the goblins to the train tracks so the train can one-shot it. If you do tag the goblins, you can still get the points, if you guys notice. So first things first, since we are using Ager Scepter, you must take down all the goblins as much as you can and make sure you kill at least one Void Minotaur. Now here's the weirdest thing that really confuses me, but you know what? It's been like this for years. So these Void Minotaurs, they behave like Overload champions, like the gold bar right on the left side. The one that's shooting Void at me and is trying his best to send me back to orbit. Now if you don't take down one of them, they will follow you like an Overload champion and try their best to melee you. They will try their best to melee you, and they will just keep walking, shooting Void, and then when they get close to you, they melee you. Now if you take down one of the Void Minotaurs, then the second one is not going to behave very aggressive. It's a weird thing, but it always seems to be like that for years. You know, ever since Warden of Nothing was out. This always seemed to happen before Champions was available, and then of course Champions. It's just little things like that that you must be aware of. As I said before, I am using a sky rifle, so you must take down these goblins, all these ads as much as you can. Not too much, just enough where they can't really walk when you're trying to take down a champion from the left side, well, the right side. Now everything looks clear, so I'm gonna run and slide for my life a bit. Not too much like Corrupted, but still, we don't want to get two-shot by these snipers. Now I'm gonna wait for the train to move. Once I do, I slide, crouch a bit, and then use my well-given form to take down the barrier champion. Now I know what you're thinking, you could use this to take down the second barrier champion. Yes, but I do want to save that super energy to take down the mini boss that will spawn very soon once we take down the barrier champion. And be very careful with the train you saw there. Make sure you hug the wall when you are crossing towards the stairs or when you're going to take down the next champion. Now when you are taking down the champion over here, there will be a gold bar goblin from the left side shooting you, so always pop your healing rift. That way you won't get distracted or have your health down. And you can see it's this guy right here. This guy always seems to mess up my DPS with the barrier champions, but as I said before, always have a healing rift and then just focus on the barrier champion. Once you do, you can take down the goblin last. And if the mini boss still doesn't spawn, then you have to clear out more ads, which right now it looks like it's good enough of how many ads I've taken down. And here is the mini boss. So he usually teleports from the middle. Sometimes he doesn't. He just teleports in the middle a little bit, and then he just gets bored and he goes and teleports from the left side. Now the one thing you will really want to do is when you have your super for the Ager Scepter, use your super well given form when the Minotaur is in the middle. Reason why is it does massive DPS and far distance. I have tested out. I don't think in this video I used my super when the Minotaur was in the middle. As I said before, I did many runs because, you know, I had to record my hand cam, and then at the same time I had to do this GM run with no anti-barrier. Otherwise, it's kind of not easy as it looks, to be honest, but it is a big deal, especially dealing with barrier champions that hug and cuddle together in a specific area, which I will talk about that soon. Now, because the Minotaur wasn't cooperating with me, I did use my well-given form, the Super Ager's DPS mode. As I said, things happen. Sometimes the boss does just not want to cooperate with you. It didn't cooperate with me. You know, it had problems with me. I don't blame it. It doesn't like Ager Scepter. You know, that's the whole reason why. Once you do take down the Void Minotaur, the mini boss, you can also just try your best to collect as much ammo as you can. Now the trains will all stop, so you don't have to worry about the train running, you know, getting attacked by a train, getting one shot and sent back to orbit. So that's the good news, by the way. Now we're gonna go to this part. Now this part isn't really so bad, to be honest, especially when using the Defusing and stasis turrets. This is probably like most of the laid back section. And it's good, because when you go to the other one, that one is gonna be a problem. Now make sure you take down the barrels before throwing your stasis. Especially if you throw it very, very far away. Now, I didn't throw it far distance because there are barrels that can kill your turret. Yes, for some odd reason, I don't know why, but the barrels can actually kill your turret. So that means that if you throw your turret and you shoot the barrel, your turret will shatter. And then that's basically a waste of your grenade energy, which we don't want that to happen. So that's why I do recommend before throwing your turret, especially towards the two unstoppable champions at front, make sure you shoot the barrels. That way your turret won't explode or shatter into pieces. As I said before, you can freeze the unstoppable champions, and then at the same time you can get your super energy very easily. Another good thing about this method is you can save a lot of heavy. You can save a lot of linear fusion, especially with the next section where we have to capture 3 plates. Definitely, I do recommend to save as much heavy as you can because you need it, because there's going to be a lot of champions and it's going to be a problem. Especially with the loadout I'm using, I don't have anti-barrier and there's a lot of them on that specific area, which you have to be very, very cautious and know what you're doing, or you'll wind up having 0 ammo and then you have to go back to orbit. Now there is a couple of snipers. Now the snipers can 2-shot you if you do have the double solar resistance and 9-tier resilience. For my loadout, for my build, I didn't put 100. I didn't have enough stats to put 100 for my Warlock, so 9-tier is good enough for me, to be honest. But if you are a Warlock main and you have the triple 100 stats, you know what? Good for you. Use it for this run. And especially use it for farming shards, farming exotic stats, And of course, getting the Nightfall weapons. So definitely abuse it for this season, because I feel like next season they're gonna make the Nightfalls probably more difficult than right now. So as you guys noticed, there were 2 snipers I take down. And now I'll be using the turret to take down all these cabals from front. And then there's 2 more snipers, these scions here. Then there's a void cabal that has a void shield, which is why I'm using a void sky rifle. Now if I did have explosion payload, it would make it a little bit easier. I mean, vocal weapon isn't so bad, to be honest. Not so bad for a primary weapon, not so much. Before I go to the most, I would say the most frustrating area, especially if you don't have anti-barrier weapons, make sure you get a lot of heavy, special, and then we're gonna go deal with this section. Alright, so this is probably the best part in this Nightfall. You know why? We're gonna deal with 5 champions! Yay! Isn't it great? It's like Bungie said, you know what? Let's just do something fun. Let's just put champions all over this area just to scare guardians. You know, especially guardians who are on their own. Yeah, I'm sure this will be a really good idea, right? So there are different types of champions, so let's see what we got here. We do have 3 snipers that you must take down very quickly. Then there's going to be an overload champion, unstoppable champion, and then 3 bigger champions. 1 Cabal and 2 Vex bigger champions. Now, because I am using the Ager Scepter loadout, I have to go around the map, you know, here and there, and just get rid of these mines as much as I can, because we're going to be running around the map, capturing the checkpoints, and it's going to be pretty dangerous. Now, first things first, right, I had to throw a turret to distract this barrier champion so it won't shoot arc at me. Throw another turret just in case something happens. And now I'm going to be using my super, the well-given form, with the Ager Scepter to take down one of the barrier champions, and then the next one. The next one I will take down this specific barrier champion. Now the reason why I decided to take down both of these champions is because they always cuddle and hug and love each other. It's really hard to take down those champions when you don't have anti-barrier. If you don't have the anti-barrier mods, then those 2 barrier champions are going to give you a hard time. Now for me, I just want to make it easier, so I will use a super for Ager Scepter to take down both of those champions, compared for the Cabal. Now, I'm very happy that it's not the machine gun champion, it's just the arc one. You know, it's better than the other dangerous champions like inside Terminus. Remember the machine gun champion that kept popping the shield over and over, and it was very frustrating, right? You're probably wondering why I'm standing there, so I'm trying to think of how am I gonna throw my turrets. I wanted to throw 2 of them so they both can team up at the barrier champion. Once I set up the trap for this barrier champion, now I can actually do some DPS dealing with the barrier champion. And thank the Traveler Speaker, or even thank Kate, that this worked out very smoothly. Now there's gonna be the Overload and the Unstoppable Champion. Now both of them will fight each other, so that's the good news. So this will be the perfect time to go ahead and grab a cup of ammo, Mainly what you want to do over here is take down the Overload Champion first. So I'm going to be throwing my turret. I was just waiting for my grenade energy to be full up so I can actually use it. Alright, once I throw my turret, hopefully nothing bad will happen for my turret. You know, it won't disintegrate and disappear like we have seen in other videos where if there's a barrel and it hits and you shoot it close to the turret, it will disintegrate. Now mainly what you want to do over here is take down the Overload Champion first. The Overload Champion is the most dangerous. So make sure you take him down and leave Unstoppable alone until you are prep. So before I take down the Unstoppable Champion, I must make sure I have full ammo. All the mines are gone. That's why I walked all over the map as much as I can. Everything looks good, right? You can also wait for your super if you want to as well. For me, I think I waited for my super just to be 100% sure that nothing bad will happen. Now let's talk about the 3 checkpoints. So mainly you have to capture 3 of the plates, and there's going to be a lot of champions. Now for this one, I decided to skip the Unstoppable Champion, not this one but the other one, because I just didn't have enough DPS. Mainly the Storm Chaser is just too slow. Plus I don't even have a anti-barrier mod weapon. Now if I was using the linear fusion, the bait and switch, then yeah, I could take down the Unstoppable Champion very easily with no sweat. Now this area is going to be a little tricky. I did throw a nade there just in case. There'll be 3 goblins that will spawn from the right side. Make sure you take him down. That's why I have a healing rift. I did pop the healing rift a little bit too early, but make sure you use healing rift a little bit later than that. Now use your will given form to take down a barrier champion, because you must take down a barrier champion really fast. Honestly, trying to do the method of just throwing a turret, it's just a nightmare. Unless you're using a will of the horde, then maybe, but other than that, I would say no. Now, if you can, try your best to take down the Void Minotaur. The Void Minotaur is the one will walk around and will mess up your capturing the points, well, the checkpoints. And you want to make sure you take down this Minotaur, because once you do, then the Unstoppable Champion should just mess around with the Overload Champion. It should. Sometimes the Unstoppable Champion doesn't cooperate with you. So here's the risky thing. The Unstoppable Champion sometimes will stay in that area on the A area, or it will go after the Overload Champion. Now for this video, I was happy that it actually was cooperating with me. You know, finally, after 5 attempts, it finally just wanted to mess around with the Overload Champion. Now since I capture A, right, I'm gonna go back and capture C, since I already took down the Void Minotaur and there's really nothing around this area. And the reason why, as I said before, is because the Unstoppable Champion and a few of the Cabals, they're all gaining up on the Overload Champion, as you guys notice over here. Because of that, you know, I can sneakily capture the 2 mines or the 2 plates very easily. As I said before, right now if I had bait and switch, I would quickly take down the Unstoppable Champion, but I can't because it's just not enough. So now I'm going to be throwing another turret, and then make sure I am on the capture point. Now make sure you pop a healing rift, and if you have another turret, throw another turret from the left side to the left side. And what I did over here is I crouch so they can't see me. Hopefully, it does work sometimes, to be honest. Once you do, then you can actually go and deal with the mini boss. So yes, we're going to be dealing with another mini boss. So if you can, just use and abuse this Scorn cannon. So I highly recommend to use it and abuse it. Now if you do see Cabals here, you can shoot them or you can let go of the cannon and then just use your weapons. Now be aware that they will throw grenades at you, so that's why I was being very cautious over here, because they were kind of lagging a bit. I don't know if you guys noticed, but one of the Cabals was jumping and then it just disappeared. You know, it's very awkward. Now if you are planning to do DPS at this area, just remember the boss will shoot missiles. So if he does shoot missiles, just quickly hug the wall and he won't even touch you. So right now I'm just holding, I think it's R2, and I'm just trying to do as much DPS as I can. So like I said, just be very careful with this boss because he looks harmless, but he will abuse the missiles and try his best to send you back to orbit. And there was some weird glitch with the Warlock. That was kind of weird, but you know, things happen. Alright, so this is the last one. I'm just trying to make the best of it, you know? Once we do take down, well, once we do enough DPS, I decided to just use my turret and then just abuse the Storm Chaser. Now, as I said before, when doing DPS with this mini boss, he will shoot missiles. He will shoot missiles at you. So as I said, if he is shooting missiles, just take cover and make sure you shoot the mines, because I saw a couple of them in the floor. The only thing I would say about this part is just be very cautious with him. He just shoots missiles. I mean, he isn't really a big threat. Just make sure you be a little careful with this guy. He can be unpredictable sometimes, but at least the Storm Chaser is at least doing some decent amount of DPS. So once we take down the mini boss, I mean, he just slowly fell down from the right side. That was very awkward, to be honest. Now I would recommend you collect as much ammo as you can, because this is going to be probably the most annoying part in this Nightfall. Like, if you guys thought capturing the plates is annoying, well, just wait till you get to the boss fight. Well, the pre-boss fight mode. Because we're going to deal with more champions. Yes, more champions. Wonderful. They just can't get enough of champions. I love it. It's fantastic. Alright, so I'm gonna be running up. I was just waiting for the dialogue because I was doing a run, I was rushing, and then for some reason there was some weird bug going on where it wouldn't let me go to the boss fight. OMG. It was so frustrating. I was like doing a really nice, beautiful Ager Scepter and I just couldn't even make it to the boss fight because I got stuck. So I was just waiting for the dialogue to go away. So yeah, that's why I'm going slow, because I was having some trouble getting to the boss fight, and it was making me sad because all that work is for nothing, right? Okay, so we're gonna be claiming the chest, and of course there's nothing. There's completely nothing. And then we're gonna deal with 5 champions. So yay, isn't this fun? Oh my god, Blitz, holy Bungie! So yeah, this is gonna be wonderful. It's just great, you know? Great, not only have to deal with champions, you know, I'm also getting accused that this is not my gameplay. Like, it's not just fantastic. You see proof here. There's a hand cam on the top, well, the right side. I was thinking of putting the right side, but I was like, no, let's put it at the top right, because it's supposed to be the radar. But like, no, just put it there. Alright, so here is the most frustrating part. You really have to be careful which one you choose. Have you ever played Pokemon Blue or Red, where Professor Oak is you have to choose one, right? It's kind of like that, where you actually have to choose which champions you have to take down and make sure it counts. Because if you take down the champions that's not going to work out with your build, then you're going to have a problem. For me, I think the Overload champion needs to be taken down now. So I decided to just take down the Overload champion now. Like right now, done. I gotta do it. Now what I should have done over here, to be honest, is use my super. I hesitated because I just realized, right, that there's an unstoppable champion. I can just, you know, farm for super energy from the champion. Now another thing, if you notice, there is a machine gun barrier champion and then a Vex barrier champion. Now you want to make sure you don't let the machine gun champion see you, because if the machine gun barrier champion sees you, he will shoot you from far away, like where I'm standing right now. If he sees you, he will shoot you and then back to orbit, or you have to jump down quickly to save yourself. So make sure you don't let the machine gun champion to see you. So now over here I was standing a bit because I was thinking of what to do. And the reason why I was thinking is because, well, if you look at my ammo, I only have 99 trace rifle and 6 storm chaser ammo. So basically I don't really have enough special to deal with the barrier champion. So right now I was thinking of what strat can I do in this situation, because this is actually a bad thing that could happen to any guardians, where you're low on special to deal with the barrier champions, which is not good. So the best way for me was to wait for my grenade and then try my best to get some of the special ammo that's left in the floor. There should definitely be trace ammo finder, since we do have the double, right? It only costs 1 energy for this season. So that's why I was just standing there like, okay, what am I gonna do? There's champion on the left side, champion on the right side. Now I will argue and say the best way is dealing with the machine gun champion first. The reason why I want to deal with the machine gun champion is because he's so unpredictable. I mean, look at that. He just spotted me and then he's like, oh, okay. Well, I'm just gonna go deal with the Vex barrier champion. And he's like, what? I see something. Okay, well, I'm gonna turn back and deal with the Vex champion. So yeah, he's very unpredictable. You know, he's gonna spam his heir to pair machine gun, and then if he sees you, he will turn and use it on you. So now I'm just thinking, like, how am I gonna get this trace rifle ammo finder, you know, special ammo in the floor with these 2 champions fighting each other? I don't want to be caught in the middle of the fire, you know. I want to grab the ammo and be safe. So I was trying to think what to do, by the way, because he has his missiles, he has his machine gun, and then we got this Vex with the solar attack that could damage me. So I decided to see if I can take down this bigger champion. This was very risky, to be honest. If I had bait and switch, you know, this would probably be easier. But I'm just letting you know, this was very risky to do. I was like, okay, you know what, let's try this method. And if it doesn't work, then I have to freeze these enemies and then quickly get ammo. So it did work out pretty well. And as I said, what I did over there was very risky. Another scenario, worst case scenario, my loadout didn't work. So that means I had to freeze both of the barrier champions and then grab special ammo as fast as I can. You know, do the bunny warlock hop to make sure nothing bad happens. Alright, so now what I'm going to do over here is throw turrets and make sure I have special ammo. Make sure you do grab a bunch of heavy. I was just trying to grab some ammo as much as I can so I can most definitely, you know, have no problems with the boss. So as you guys notice, I am going to do the mini cheese method. I'm going to stand on the platform from the third bar. You can see over here, the third rail right here, very slowly with the warlock jump. There is an invisible platform where you can use and abuse dealing with the boss. If you guys notice, I was using my trace rifle, but then I thought about it and said, you know what, I should just wait until I have my super and then I'll use the trace rifle on the boss. So mainly over here, it's basically you just stand here. You can jump if you want to, but just be aware of the Cabal. The solo Cabal is the one that can kill you from this cheese spot. And I noticed that if it does see you, it will shoot. And then if it doesn't see you, it'll just turn around and focus on the Vex. So as you guys notice, there's Vex and then Cabals in this boss room. So they will fight each other and you have to be very, very careful with them. Now, I was just trying to use all my heavy as much as I can. Eventually the boss will walk up towards you. So I wouldn't really worry too much of what if the boss doesn't show up? What if the boss is not there? He keeps just standing on the back. Just keep shooting and he will float towards you, and then you can just do as much DPS as you can. Now you can notice that the boss is using his solar and it is burning the Cabals, which is kind of nice, you know, that the boss can actually hurt the Cabals, which is very useful, you know. So yeah, this is basically the whole Nightfall. It's just me just spamming Sky Rifle until I get my super. So yeah, isn't this fun? Alright, so you're probably wondering, alright, before we just go in conclusion, yes, I did put a hand cam for this video. Reason why was I was getting accused, I don't know why to be honest, that the gameplay is not mine. I wish I was joking around, but I'm very serious. I actually am getting accused. That's why I put a hand cam to show proof that it's legit me, you know. I just realized why I was getting accused. You know, it's because I'm not a streamer. I think that's one of the reasons why, and it's kind of sad because it doesn't make sense. Okay, so maybe I won't get accused if I go on Twitter, right, and then I post and say, okay guys, I'm streaming on Twitch. I'm gonna put a profile of me with my headset with a lot of makeup and then with a tank top to show the assets, and then I just do a little pose and say, okay guys, make sure you subscribe on my Twitch. $6. I will tell you that when I do my runs, it is not script. I just talk of what's going on in Nightfall because I've done the Nightfall many times before champions were the thing. But seriously, I am getting accused and it does baffle me a bit. A little disappointed because I just focus mainly on the gameplay. I don't really want to show of my appearance because I feel like people will just focus on that than the gameplay, you know, and that's not what I want. Alright, so make sure you do use your super when using your trace rifle. When you do have your super, make sure you use an abused Ager Scepter at the boss. Do as much DPS as you can, and it should melt the boss, especially when the boss is very close to you. Alright, so I am gonna save the checkpoint and sacrifice my loot, as you guys will notice right now. So, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!